I could be wrong, but I don't think that the alternator is supposed to emanate smoke after use. It's always something! I have a problem, and before you ask, no, it has nothing to do with not having learned my lesson about Subarus despite having owned 2 of them. You see, sometimes in life, let's just get into it, there's enormous spiders in my garage. And I am not kidding when I say enormous spiders. On that wall over there, 2 times, very close together recently, I have seen unbelievably large spiders on the wall. And I am not my wife, which comes as no surprise to any of you probably, but I'm not one to exaggerate about the size of spiders. Because she sees a spider that is, you know, barely visible without a microscope and calls it a huge spider. I am not that person. When I say it is a huge spider, it is a huge spider. Literally the biggest spiders I have ever seen in my entire life outside of like tarantulas in a zoo environment or something. Now, I'm not one who is typically terrified of spiders or something like that. I mean, I don't want them on me or something like that, but I don't have a problem with coexisting with them. So as you can imagine, I handled this situation like a man. What in the world, dude? Oh, this is so huge. I'm afraid to kill it. I think it's gonna grab me and pull me in and eat me alive. What? This thing is huge! Oh, that is the hugest spider. It is nuts. Holy crap. Okay, so I was a little bit shocked in that one, but luckily it was way better the second time. Good Lord, there's another one. What the heck, dude? I mean, it's massive. It's really big. Okay, how would you act if you saw giant spiders in your garage? Better? Okay, I didn't want to hear that. And I wanted to know what kind of spiders these were, and so I am stupid and decided to Google largest spider species in Illinois. And you know, it's probably not the right decision to make. And I'm just scrolling through this list and then, funnily enough, we just get to number 1 and it's the exact spider. For certain. Like, literally instantly recognized it from the picture. And apparently, they're called dark fishing spiders. Kill me. Worst yet, it says size ranges from 3.5 to 4.5 inches. That's a lot, depending on who you ask. And you know where it says it spends a lot of its time? Hanging out, waiting for prey on horizontal surfaces like trees and walls. Pick someone else's walls. I bought this place. You don't pay rent. Please leave. Makes me really uncomfortable being in here now. Especially because there is a, I'm assuming it's a molt. It looks like a molt, not an actual spider carcass. Right there, just out of camera shot, and down here, that is clearly from the same species of spider. So, good news. Every time you see a video from me from here on out, you can have the knowledge that there may or may not be the largest spider species possible in my state present with me in the garage at the same time. Great. I love that for me. On another hand, other problem I have is the Fords in my life. With all due respect to the Focus, it doesn't really break that often, and anything that has broken on it has been pretty harmless and ultimately just annoying, other than the CV axle, which I still need to replace and I haven't done yet, so there is that small thing, sure. But the Mustang, on the other hand, decided to do something far more irritating. There's a thing that cars that I like to own do to me where I do something nice for them. We're gonna pretend they're sentient in this situation. I do something nice for them, like my Subaru, what did I do? I replaced a whole bunch of stuff that needed replacing on it and did a general, I guess, tune-up, you could call it, on it. And how did it repay me? The AC went out. My Mustang, I tried to diagnose idling issues that it was having that I kind of inflicted upon it, but we'll gloss over that small detail. And I fixed it, and then I put a revised tune on it and had a good grand old time. So how did it repay me? Oh, the alternator caught on fire. Or maybe it didn't catch on fire, but it did decide that it was more effective as a smoke machine than an alternator. Not sure if you can see that, but ooh, we even get smoke this time. Nice. Yeah, that's, that definitely seems like a cooked alternator. Unless there's something else that's burning down there, but I doubt it. And this is funny because in my most recent video before this one, I talked about the revision to the Bama 93 race tune, and I mentioned towards the end of the video that I started getting a message that told me that my charging system was failing and to check my charging system and blah 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 whatever. Well, on the data log as I was reading it, it said the voltage was somewhere between like 14.2 and 14.5. So I wasn't worried about it because that's exactly where voltage should be. So I figured there was an issue with the charging system somewhere where something was making that code come up, but it was actually still charging fine. That was until I got in my car to leave for work, and in case you don't know, I do commercial cleaning as a job, as for a living. I don't know what I was trying to do with that sentence, but I guess it's over now. And it has been just colossally hot. I mean, over the entire United States recently, but obviously in this location as well. There's been heat index of over 100 degrees on most days recently. Today it's in the 90s somewhere. I don't know, let me double check. It is currently 90 degrees with a high of 99. Right now it feels like 102, which is lovely. No, it's not. So I put my cleaning stuff in the Mustang on Wednesday. I'm filming this on Friday. And I was gonna take this to work instead because it has AC and because I like the noises that it makes. But then I went to pull out of my driveway and I loaded up my data log because I was just monitoring things after putting the new tune on it, and I noticed my voltage is only at 13.3 now. And I was like, so that's interesting. And so I turned the car off and started it again, and that may or may not be a brown recluse because I didn't have enough spider problems in here. I hate everything. Well, we'll avoid the possibly life-threatening spider for a moment and continue with the story. I kept restarting the car, and every time I did, the voltage went down. It's always something! And after it dipped below about like 11, there started being an obvious whining noise coming from the engine bay. And the last time I started it, the voltage was about like, I think 10.4 or something like that on average. That was what it was fluctuating around. And smoke started emanating out of the hood. Unfortunately, I didn't catch when most of the smoke was happening on video because I had to pull the car into the garage and stop it. But what smoke there was is still visible. So yeah, the alternator is fried, which is super fun. I love that. Ultimately, it's not a huge deal. I'm not that upset about it. It is inconvenient, and it does mean that I'm going to have to save a little bit of money for an alternator because I am, what's the word right now? Broken, or broke for short. Both are accurate. So yeah, I don't know what all is involved to get the alternator off of there, but we might take a look and see what we can do, and I might describe what it looks like to me is required to replace this alternator, and you can describe to me if you think that I am a moron or not, because I already know. Also, there's a certified good boy in here. Caden, hi buddy. Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? We need some more ISO, Caden. Hi there, buddy. Oh, yes. You're a good pupper, aren't you? Yes, you are. Who's a good boy? He always looks so timid in videos for some reason. You want to show everyone how hyper you actually are most of the time? Most of the time, you're a borderline menace, aren't you? You're a good boy. Yeah. Are you the best shop dog? I mean, really, you're not because you're terrified of loud noises, but you definitely are cute and a nice doge. Yes. Okay, let's take a look in here. Obviously, the intake's gonna have to come off to get to the alternator. Hopefully you can see where that is down there, just barely. Not a great way to get a good shot of this. But the alternator's right down there. It looks like, I don't know, that radiator hose might be in the way. Like the lower radiator hose, and or obviously the intake's going to be in the way. But it doesn't look like it'll be too hard to get to, so maybe we will start tearing this apart. But first, let's talk about this box. Keep refrigerated. That's not actually important. So I have a friend who is an elderly woman. Is there a better way to put that? I have a friend who is a elderly lady, and she is going to be moving out of state. And so she basically let me go into her garage and take anything that I wanted. And I took basically what I needed and was able to fit in this box. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Sorry this video is not like super duper formal and doesn't contain a ton of information because I don't know exactly what is going to happen with the Mustang yet. But contained inside of this box is a thing that has a bunch of random hardware in it. So I don't know, that could be useful, I guess. I'm sure it could be useful at some point. There's cotter pins. I mean, you need those once every 14 years or something. Got some nice loppers and some other loppers because I don't know where mine went. That's what moving is like. Just losing your things for a long period of time and then finding them once you don't need them anymore. Some chisels for all the woodworking that I don't do. A ratchet strap for all the strap that I ratchet. Ding. Various C-clamps. A flashlight that is also a magnet that doesn't work. I mean, I assume it just needs like batteries or something, so maybe it'll work. More clamps. A hatchet so I can hack my way through life's anxieties. Tin snip so that I can snip tin. I don't know, I can't think of a better joke for these that doesn't go dark really, really fast. And some more USA vice grips, which that way I can support the US tool industry, which is pretty much dead already. I don't know. If you've never used USA vice grips though, they are genuinely the best vice grips. Like even just these old, super beat up looking ones, they hold on and work way better than even like the reissued ones that you can get from Irwin or whatever, that are made wherever they're made, like China or Taiwan or something like that. These are better. They're way better. But by far the most important thing, a rake. Well, let's go ahead and pop this intake off and see what it is that we can do. All right, we're using a different lens on the camera, so hopefully it doesn't destroy the quality. I guess we're just gonna go ahead and pop this off and just see how much space we have to get to the alternator. That is the entire intake out as one piece at least. That was easy enough. Also, just let me say, this right here is the sound tube. It goes right into the cabin. It is to pipe in induction sound from the intake. I had someone comment when on one of my shorts about basically making fun of me for calling it a sound tube while having grammar worse than like a -8-year-old. This is a sound tube or an induction sound tube or whatever you want to call it, but the sole purpose of this thing is to pipe sound into the cabin. He thought that I was talking about the PCV hose basically, which if I'm not mistaken, on this side, this actually doesn't have to do with the PCV system. It's something to do with fuel vapor. But that is not what I was referring to. I was talking about the thing that is actually a sound tube. But it looks like the alternator is pretty straightforward to get to at this point, just right down in there. So I suppose we are disassembled enough at this point that we are basically good to go whenever we get the new alternator. So we have basically picked this apart as it seems like need. It should be pretty easy to get in there. Obviously we don't have the alternator to put in today. I will try to get that as soon as possible, but like I said, unfortunately I don't have a lot extra to put aside. I basically have nothing extra to put aside towards car stuff right now. So it might be a minute before we get the alternator, but this is still a vehicle that I want to be up and running and functional and operational as much as possible right now. So hopefully ASAP we'll still be able to pop that alternator in there. I need to decide whether I am cool with risking getting a remanufactured alternator, which I guess I've heard a lot of people have not had great success with. New or remanufactured. Remanufactured is obviously cheaper. A new alternator from Ford is like 300 bucks, which is honestly kind of a lot for an alternator. I'm sure there's plenty of examples of something being more expensive than that, but that was honestly a little bit more than I was expecting. Could definitely be worse. But honestly, as much as I joke about it, there could be so many worse things that happen to the Mustang. It could break in so many more extreme ways. So honestly, I don't have much to complain about. I'm sure that it'll be absolutely fine. It's not gonna be a problem to replace it. So I'll do that soon and this car will be back up and running, hopefully better than ever. Hey Caden, what are you looking at? Caden, you got junk on your eye. Where you been? You been in the shadows where there's dusties. You wanna say bye to people? Come on. Oh, I know. You a shake? You shake? Oh, good boy. Sorry, I'm just over here algorithming because there's an animal in my video and everyone knows. Everyone loves animals. Hold on, let me go get my other dog and my 2 cats real quick. Just kidding, we're not gonna do that right now, but maybe we'll see him again in another video. But honestly, with all of this being said, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Please consider, if you have not already, subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content that you're seeing. We're gonna see a lot more car-related stuff shortly, and I'm going to work a lot on improving the quality of the videos. I haven't been unhappy with the videos I've been putting out, but I definitely want something with a little bit more spice, you know, get some freaking oregano, Italian seasoning, some turmeric. I know nothing about cooking. Get some chili flakes or something. I'm so white, dang it. I just noticed that Caden got muddy paw prints on my shirt. Get some 11 herbs and spices from KFC up in here. I don't even really like KFC that much. They're okay, but there's so much better chicken out there. But regardless, please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We got 180 as of filming to go. I'm super duper appreciative for all the support that we've gotten. We started this year with like 460 something subscribers, if I'm not mistaken. So we have almost doubled that already, which is absolutely amazing. And if you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting the like button as well. That also really helps out with the old algorithm-y world we live in right now, which is just so scary. And I will see you guys all in the next one.